the end of a series, if you show that kind of thing against Rapha, I think he'll literally smell blood in the water and he'll go straight in.
It's kind of go back to the cooler game too. It's just at certain points, noctis, he just looks so in control, so in command of the game, and then something just happens. I don't know if it's because his opponent starts landing more shots, playing him a little differently, but that's why I kind of mentioned his attitude. Sometimes I wonder if you need a little extra fire in your belly to kind of, you know, push through some of these situations when it gets rough. Get a little angry, be like, you know what, no, that's it, I'm coming at you now, you know? And I think Rapha, to his credit, has a great demeanor on stage, but I think underneath the mask is, you know, a little bit of, yeah, I'm gonna go for this now, you know, and forget this, I'm going after you.
And it's funny you should mention that because he has decided to go for Galena on Blood Run. Now, there was a time where we would see Galena all the time on Blood Run and it wouldn't really be a surprising choice. You know, she has such an amazing time on this map because teleporters being one of the most common ways to sort of traverse around the map, and if there's one champion in this game that makes teleporting a massive risk, it's gonna be Galena. And on the flip side, even using a teleporter is gonna be a risk, just in case there's a totem on the other side. So eliminating that sort of like passage that the opponent can have is going to be a massive tool on a map like Blood.
Yeah, just like you said, even the totem doesn't even need to be there. Just the fact that he has to think about it. Is it there? Is it not there? Maybe I'll take another route. And, you know, that could change his game. And we've seen noctis, I think he might probably pick Sorlag if we're on Blood Run. He seems to be great with Sorlag, the movement, good at using the rocket jump to get that extra speed. So I'm wondering if maybe Shane, Rapha is thinking about, hey, you know what, put some totems around, try to slow him down a little bit so he doesn't feel like he can move freely like he wants to.
So here we go, it's going to be noctis versus Rapha. Map 1 is going to be Blood Run. Rapha, I think he's going into this one as definitely a favorite, but noctis is no slouch. Actually making that small decision to go for the little bit of a shot there before getting the Mega. Just try and get some damage, get some early control, but the slash pick first.
Yeah,
cool from Rapha.
A very standard opening between both players right now. So neither man has an advantage. It's about who's going to set up that good situation first and put pressure on their opponent.
I mean, Sorlag has an amazing ability to just slow the pace of the map down. You know, if she's got that really solid stack and she's got the acid spit, just encountering her in these small corridors becomes such a massive risk. Especially with Slash, you know, one way to deal with Slash is to set one of those traps, catch her at point blank, acid spit in the face, one good rocket, and she's pretty much toast.
Yeah, I expect Rapha's going to be looking to land some rails, some long-range damage to even that stack out.
However, right now, obviously, understandably, somewhat of a slow start, but Rapha trying to sort of keep him away from the middle, so that's going to be really important as the Mega and Heavy start to spawn.
Yeah, noctis taking priority in the Mega here. It's really big to keep, I mean, with the 100 armor, I mean, just keep your Sorlag at over health plus the whole 100 armor. I feel it's really useful just to keep that Mega health under Sorlag control.
Because in some ways, you don't even need the Heavy, as long as you've got Mega and full armor. Just how much damage took, right? He had 170 health after eating a rail. I mean, he'll happily take that.
Yeah, exactly. The base 100 armor stack is certainly good, and you top that off with 200 health, and she's loaded.
And that's one very important rail to land, sending a little bit of a message to Rapha. Right side towards Mega, the fight takes place. Goes in for the acid spit, does manage to get one kill, but they trade it. Now, I kind of wonder who that kind of trade's going to be advantageous for. I feel like actually getting Sorlag away from Noctis is always going to be a win.
And I feel like Noctis had the advantage initially. He had the initiative in that fight. He read Rapha, you know, he saw the nails coming in, so he had the initiative getting that first shot off. And so for Rapha to get out of that with the trade, I think is a little bit of a moral victory.
Yeah, for sure. If Rapha was going to go out, that trade's going to be like best case scenario. Now, next versus Anarchy, actually going in for the chase. Noctis, one of those rockets, but not being chased down by Rapha. We've seen that consistently today where, in theory, you could chase something, but one big rocket, you're going to lose a champion. It might not be worth it. Oh, going for the fight instead of the Mega. He will pay for that one. Rapha does get another frag on the board. Noctis down to his Doomslayer.
Yeah, nice rockets again from Rapha. And one of the hallmarks of all these good pros is their defensive rocket placement. So you have to be very careful about pushing too aggressively, even if you think you have an advantage. And like you mentioned earlier, one good direct rocket a lot of times will even things out.
And I think these players, I mean, at this level of play, everyone's going to know that, you know. Yeah, you have to calculate the decision. And then Rapha, just with the defensive Ghost Walk, he can't even risk getting caught out there by Noctis. Look at the difference in stack. You said it yourself, you know, one bad rocket and things could go pear-shaped. In that situation, he didn't want to take the risk.
Yeah, it's just smart play. I mean, he has a one frag lead right now. Doesn't need to push too heavy. There's still, you can't be too passive yet with 2 minutes still in the round, but he's looking pretty good, especially with Nyx. You know, he just keep his Ghost Walk up. He doesn't need a frag, just about another minute or so, and then he's going to be in full passive mode, I think.
And he was stuck in the air temporarily, giving noctis a little bit of extra time to go in there and chase, but he's likely to get this Mega a little bit uncontested until Rapha gets back. But no, actually gets a rail beforehand, but quite weak himself.
Nice.
Chases it down. Defensive rocket just in case. Doesn't quite connect, but I feel like as the champion limit starts to become more of a threat, I feel like it's, even if you're not winning by timeout, you're going to sort of force a certain style of play from the opponent that they might not have wanted to play, right? You know, it's going to force them to be a little bit more aggressive. They have to make something happen, which could open up the chance for mistakes or just being a bit too reckless. But in some ways, you haven't got a choice when it gets this late on in the round. Yeah,
Noctis is short on time here. He's going to have to make a major push. I mean, he's patient. He's going to make sure he gets a decent stack. But around 4:15, anywhere between 4:15 and 4:30, I expect him to just go full-on aggression.
And I feel like Rapha, he's going to keep his eye glued to that Ghost Walk. As we go into that 1 minute warning, just getting 1 or 2 Ghost Walks on deck just to waste as much time as physically possible becomes so frustrating to deal with. And he's going to be looking for that one.
Oh, this is good. Rapha's in great position right now. Not much Noctis could do. He wants to get aggressive there, but he can't based on the position that Rapha had.
I love his decision to just control the middle of the map. It's going to take a long time before that heavy. If Noctis tries to wait for this heavy, that's a lot of the round gone, and then he's got to make something happen in the blink of an eye. The Ghost Walk is still up. Time is not his friend right here.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily waiting for the heavy right there. I think he's just trying to listen, try to get some kind of sound cue, because he needs to go in like hard right now.
For sure. It's going to sort of take a slight detour, but even that's going to waste about 3 seconds. Now he's got 15 seconds left. I'm not sure he has the time to get the job done here.
Yeah, and it looks like Rapha's going to run the clock out. That's a very standard strategy as well, sitting by that teleporter there. Throw your rail out as you go back into it. Noctis is looking like he's going down 1-0 here.
Okay, so it's been a very sort of slow and calculated round. I mean, it's going to be one of those extra elements too. If it's a 5-minute round, you've got the champion limit. That's going to be one of your greatest strengths. I feel like it was quite a standard way to start things on Blood Run. It can be quite a defensive map.
Going back to that trade, I think, was the pivotal aspect of that match. I thought Noctis really had him because, you know, Shane threw some nails down there, really gave away his position. Oh, looks like
it looks like Noctis may be having a bit of an issue. I think Rapha's just double-checking things are all right, but I think we'll find out what's going on in due time. I think Noctis had the screen freeze for a little bit, so we'll see what's going on here. But while we sort of wait for this to go back on board, so that first round, you know, you mentioned it right, they sort of had that really crucial trade. I think it was impressive enough that Rapha was able to force that trade in general. You know, Noctis had the jump on him, he had way more health, he had way more armor. The fact that Rapha was even able to pick his shots so well that he forced the trade was an impressive feat in itself.
Yeah, and honestly, it looked like it won the round for him. I mean, because if Noctis gets that kill, he's in command. He's up 1-0. He'll have control of Mega. He probably grabs heavy armor shortly after that. It really changes the whole dynamic of that round. So that was a big play from Rapha.
It looks to me like we might actually be going straight back into it. So the guys are playing for real. So going into this round number 2, as you can clearly see, a little bit of damage has come out from Rapha, and a minute down on the round already. So it's going to be a slightly shorter round this time. Be so careful on those rails. I think, yeah, as long as you're getting hit by all of that LG, does miss the rail, so Noctis alive for now, but as long as you're trying to just pick that moment to land the rail when you're eating all that LG, it can be quite risky to make that final decision to shoot.
And you can see, you know, because he knows he's on Slash and Noctis is on Sorlag, the difference in hitbox size. That's why if you want to sit there and have a hit scan war, I'm more, a little
That was a really nice defensive rocket. Rapha probably think he can go in and secure that one, but we've seen how dangerous defensive rockets can be. On the subject of rockets, Noctis looking very low. No wonder that's why the passage towards the rocket launcher is his next course of action, especially against Nyx too.
And I wonder if that was a little miscalculation by Rapha coming in aggressive like that, and not to mention the great rockets by Noctis. Just unfortunate for Shane, it didn't work out. Noctis now up 1-0.
Actually looking to pick a rail, but on 0 ammo. Can have to get some of those rails. Actually jumps down to meet him. But I think he should be all right for now with that defensive acid spit. Actually lands as well, and with no Ghost Walk, that's going to give him some nice data. Can't nullify it.
Yeah, he's definitely going to nose in the back area here.
As the Ghost Walk is going to completely go through. That was a fantastic play.
Just great read. You know, Noctis didn't see the mist. He timed it to where his Ghost Walk was behind the corner there, came around and just set him up. You know, landing on that heavy armor platform is a very vulnerable position to be in.
I feel like Noctis was actually, in fact, as well, even more inclined. He tries to go for the double jump. That was unfortunate.
Wow. Yeah, great rockets from Noctis. Unfortunate for Rapha. Big turnaround for Noctis. He needed that because it looked like Shane was maybe going to take control of the round and get solid control here.
Well, we're going to see some of that Galena. So we've talked for days about how dangerous this champion can be on Blood Run, and as long as Rapha's able to hit shots like that and then keep the control on like some of those totems that he places down, Anarchy does not like stepping on one of those totems.
Oh no, yeah, it obliterates like half his stack basically. So yeah, the totem is definitely a factor. Not just the portal, but even like, you know, people like to dive in at that mega health area from the top. If you throw the totem down and then throw a rocket, you can really mess somebody up who's trying to charge in on a point.
Well, that's the fact that the totem will not only damage the opponent, but heal you. Sometimes it can do both. So in that kind of exchange where, at the drop of a hat, you take one of those rockets or one of those rails and the opponent thinks it's their turn to push in, you've just dropped the totem and undid all that damage. I mean, she can be quite a thorn in your side, you know?
That was a great shot earlier by Rapha on that rail.
And there we go. I actually love the placement there because Anarchy so consistently goes full speed down that corridor. If Noctis is going to be forced to retreat right there, there's a chance he could run straight into it. However, he has sort of scoped it out, so it's going to be gone for now. But that's the thing, I feel like that's one of the reasons Noctis is having to be so, as he moves around the map, he's actually not really sort of zipping around the map as we have seen previously because the totem will always be a threat.
Expect Shane to get aggressive here. He's got to make a move.
That rail's going to be a start. He's going to have to get a good grasp on where Noctis is likely to retreat, though. There's that totem just in case he uses teleport, but I think Noctis may be scouting that one out, but just the threat of it alone is enough.
Let's see him pick up this last armor and go for it here.
He's having a think, but Noctis being very defensive, yeah, just looking for that one moment. But these really important rails to land, you know, the second Noctis gets caught out.
Might go through that portal. Oh, he's looking at it.
And there we go. That was a fantastically placed totem. And now he's one rail away from death. Can he land it? The money shot.
Oh man, this is... He's putting another one. He's gonna try to force him through the portal again.
10 seconds. I mean, that's the rock and hard base.
He got him again.
I feel like has Noctis deliberately taken that trade? 5 seconds. Is he confident he can survive with enough time? Here comes Rapha. Is it enough time at all? But no! Oh no!
Oh man. You could tell he knew he was hiding there. Maybe 2 more seconds, and that goes completely different. Big round for Noctis to pull that out.
I feel like that had so many layers to it where, like, right there was a little bit of a miscalculation, so it did allow him to sort of get that defensive rocket, which did massive damage. But in that last exchange, I feel like there was so much going on where Noctis probably knew there was going to be a totem there, and he was thinking, well, if I just take this damage and then run away, it may not actually be a disaster, but here comes a fight surrounding Noctis, trying to catch him off guard. There's no rocket to defend. I mean, history will not repeat itself if Noctis hasn't got the same weapon.
Yeah, Rapha recognized that he had to really nothing to defend himself in terms of splash damage, and then he just used his great crouch slide movement to wiggle around in there and make himself a hard target and get the kill.
Off to a flying
nice
start,
rocket.
but some more fantastic rockets coming out of Noctis.
Yeah, you really have to be careful peeking over those ledges. You can aim your rocket and hit just the very lip of it, and you'll do good splash damage. Oh my gosh, nice rockets, Noctis.
I mean, one thing that Noctis also always does, like, impressively, is just knowing when to go in. Like, you know, his knowledge of when to be aggressive. Very often, he's rewarded with a frag. I think it just goes hand in hand, you know, when you have someone like Sorlag, you have someone like Anarchy, just knowing when to get that one important shot that allows you to chase it down and secure the kill if your combat skills are as good as Noctis's are. Like, it's a great couple of champions to take.
So if you're Shane here, he's just trying to get his basic stack. Wants to pick away at Noctis somehow. I mean, he's got an Anarchy, so you just want to land that one rail, try to force him off a major item, so he can pick up either mega health or heavy armor at this point.
Yeah, and how strong Rapha looked in that last round, even though ultimately Noctis did actually get the timeout there. I think his Galena was a fantastic answer for Anarchy on this map. Done a bit of damage, but not enough. Especially not with that injection still being in play.
Excellent placement by Noctis again. Just get some damage out. This is because he's placing them so well.
Ooh. Yeah, I see. Take as many nails as he takes. That one well-placed rocket pretty much undoes all the damage. If you're going to keep hitting those defensive rockets, you're still going to be in a great position, but... Actually interesting to see the approach from Rapha. Like, he really is slowing down the pace of how he wants to approach this. The second he gets a totem, it's just a bit of a lot of mind games taking place.
Nice shot there. He's within a rail of death here. Look out. Oh man.
I think you felt that one. Everyone felt that one.
I think he felt the wind from the shot. That was really close.
Looks like Rapha's actually was temporarily looking to chase it, but I think he understood that Noctis may be coming through this way instead.
Yeah, you gotta be careful chasing into this area of the map, because coming through that doorway, you catch some rockets and get thrown in the air, you can get taken out quick. So this is a good defensive area, even though Rapha knows he's there, it's just tough to just go in there willy-nilly.
For sure. And then he's also forced to go down towards Mega instead and relocate temporarily. But, I mean, his rails have been so important. The amount that he is landing here.
Yeah, very critical, keeping Noctis kind of on his back heel here, but not able to follow it up quite yet. Noctis is able to rebuild the stack here, picking up heavy armor.
I do love the fact that when he's in a situation where he wants to take a shot, he's not really putting himself in a position where there's nowhere to run. You know, having an escape route as Anarchy is so important.
Little cat and mouse going on here, trying to protect rocket launcher.
Waiting for the last minute change, yeah. The second rocket actually not doing a huge amount of damage, only 10. Looked like it maybe should have done a bit more, but I guess not.
Just the fact is he's bouncing him there and just setting it up the way he did. Maybe that one doesn't land, but later on he probably lands it. It's just he's doing a great job with those rockets, keeping Rapha away from being able to really engage the way he wants to, I think.
Oh, we're getting closer and closer to that 1 minute warning. That's a nice little rocket to land. One more of those and he'll be on the money. That's a long time until he can get the totem, so he's not going to be able to top himself up and sort of like undo one of those rails. I love how around every single corner you can see Noctis. He's not flying around there. He's looking around every corner just in case there's something.
Oh, yeah, but he didn't slow down too much. Oh,
I mean, because that happens, doesn't it?
Jeez.
But it's given Rapha the perfect setup.
Oh yeah, he's getting out of there now. Injection down.
Now he's going to try and command that heavy, but the second he hit that one teleporter, you know, just getting that knowledge of where he's going to be, they meet them at the heavy. Oh, fantastic rocket, but and did some of that damage with the totem. I mean, Galena, you can see why this champion is so dangerous on this map.
That was good aggression, though, by Noctis. I really thought he was going to get the kill there for a moment. I think Rapha was fortunate to get out of that situation after taking as much damage as he did on that heavy armor platform.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Galena on that platform too, I mean, all you can really do is put that totem down to heal yourself up from at least one of those shots, but she hasn't really got any form of, like, mobility. It's going to be sort of quite classic there. So if you're stuck by heavy, you can be pretty much toast. Just temporarily getting that heavy, and as we get 15 seconds left in sudden death, it's going to be Galena versus Anarchy as this final match, I think.
Looks like they're both going to take a very conservative approach right now, knowing that just one frag will win this round. But I really do. I like the Galena against the Anarchy. I feel like...
Ooh, the trap's been sprung, and he doesn't even have a chance.
I just said the extra stack plus the totem. It's just... In a rocket fight, I think Rapha was feeling good about his odds there in a good Rapha fight. You're right, stack versus stack. I got a little bit more plus the totem, you know, right there, and he took him out.
And I think that one corner near Rocket was an amazing part of the map to take the fight too, because I mean, Anarchy historically, you catch him in a bad spot, he gets the added air movement, and when he gets knocked up into the air, it's a little bit harder to pin him down. When he's in that kind of corner, there's nowhere to run. I think that was perfectly executed by Rapha, waiting for that magic moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Just close quarter combat is certainly a weakness of the smaller champions.
There's that Plasma Show. You're not going to be able to chase me there, good sir, unless you want to blow up. But I feel like with the way these matches are going, Noctis keeping the saw lag is going to be very, very important. Because when he gets if the trap is sprung against him, which he has happened a couple of times with Anarchy, if he's got saw lag for that kind of exchange, at least he's got acid spit. At least he's got a huge stack.
Oh, absolutely. If you think they'll take the last round, imagine if he's on saw lag instead of Anarchy in that position.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
He only has one more rocket left. That's actually really unfortunate, but the magic rail.
Yeah, clutch.
I was kind of worried for a second when he used his last rocket and it didn't connect.
Yeah, he was forced to switch guns there, but great rail, great shot. Oh my!
Speaking of which,
yeah,
here comes Rapha. 1-1.
Just right back, man. The back and forth nature of this game is this is nuts.
Caught him fresh off heavy, but hang on, Noctis actually being a bit aggressive. Catches one good rocket. Is he going to get one more? No, chases it down with the injection.
Injection, really good injection and shotgun play there. Oh my goodness.
Oh. Now they trade it, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
At that point, he already had too much, and that was a significantly faster round than the ones I've seen previously, but I guess that's the nature of Bloodline. Some of these champions, you catch that one moment, that one time to strike, you can just finish the job. And Galena didn't really have a chance to get anything going, you know, fresh off the spawn. I think that was actually going to be Rapha's highest source of damage, was just the totem.
I thought, I thought Rapha had him there in the mega health area, but the injection and great shotgun work by Noctis carried the day.
This is a bit of a tricky situation, actually. Very weak, and Noctis, he's going to know he's there because obviously the damage numbers showing through the map.
And then took full advantage of it. Great shot by Noctis.
In that essence, it's like, you know, Visor's not the only champion with a wall hack. If you catch that ticking number could be such an amazing tool for a map like this. And it's so small too, you know, it's you already kind of have a grasp of where someone's going to be. That just confirms it.
Unfortunate start for Rapha, especially now you got the Sorlag running around fully stacked. Honestly, Nyx against Sorlag, not the most advantageous matchup. You got to give Sorlag a little advantage here. The spit and everything. It really forced the Ghost Walk, not to mention the increased stack. As we see here, you know, he's in a real big hurt. He's in hurt. Yeah,
I mean, like, even there, like, I guess the most obvious health to pick up would have been the one right in front of him, but there was no way noctis was going to let him pick that one up. Actually kind of almost surprised to see Rapha when he was coming through the teleport was actually waiting there to spring his trap. That was a fight that was unlikely he was going to win, but here comes Rapha. And off the frag, he's been able to get himself the little bit of a reward with that totem. He's nice and healthy for this next fight.
Yeah, nice lightning gun work there on the Sorlag, who has a much bigger hitbox. I'm surprised he didn't go with Galena as the second pick. You know, to get rid of that Sorlag. I think she's a little better with the bigger stack, the totems. I think she provides a little more than Nyx does against the Sorlag.
Definitely. I know some players think that Nyx has a good charm against Sorlag because obviously the ability to sort of nullify the acid spit and stuff like that, but either way, we have seen Galena do some magical things on this map already from Rapha, so definitely can't count this guy out. It's still one round each from taking this map, but noctis had such an amazing start.
Plenty of time left in the round. Rapha just needs to get that tying frag. Noctis is obviously going to try to slow play this as much as he can. He doesn't want to take any big risk here.
Ooh, well, there's that little bit of an early prediction rock. I think he definitely knew he was there just a little bit early on the trigger finger. However, I actually love that. You know, if he's jumping down trying to get the rail, then there's always the chance that noctis just won't be looking and he's just expecting to grab the rail and he's not looking at the floor. And now looking at his health, if he gets the rail, now he could potentially die on the totem. That's one rocket. Is he going to land? Oh, so close, but
oh man,
no cigar.
Oh, Noctis just barely getting out of that one.
The second I saw him get knocked off heavy, I was very worried he was going to land on that totem.
Yeah.
That would not be the first time we've seen that combo come through where the rocket just knocks them into something they don't want to touch it. Unfortunate indeed, but not now.
I want to see him. Oh, definitely knows he's there after that, yeah.
Yeah, heard the hourglasses.
Love the little cat and mouse right now. Both players really listening to each other. Oh, I love, nice rocket jump. I love that. It's not the first time I've seen that this tournament. They take that nice approach with Anarchy, and I've seen him do it with Sorlag as well, where he doesn't land on the platform, he just picks it up and uses that air control to get up to the next level and just keep going.
I like it too, because I mean, if you misplay that and you bump into wall, you're pretty much going to fall down. So yeah. It's just a clean little bit of execution right there. But it makes sense, you know, if they're waiting for you to catch it, the rocket jump will just give you the highest amount of speed to get it. But yeah, Rapha's being a little bit of aggressive. They're trying to really sort of put that pressure on. Doesn't want to give up this mega. Now we're going back to that classic trade-off between Mega and Heavy. You know, who's going to make that first read, actually try and interrupt.
Yeah, Noctis will be perfectly content with trading between Mega Health and Heavy Armor right now. As long as he can keep one of the two, he'll be happy and to run the clock out. If you're Shane right now, or Rapha, you really need to put some pressure on him.
That defensive rocket catches another one, but minimal damage so far. The danger is now Rapha. It's going to be kind of hard for him to escape. There's Noctis trying to pepper those rockets down, catching a couple of good ones.
Yeah, that's the danger. We've seen it time and time again. It's easy to say, hey, he has to get aggressive. It's another thing to actually make it work against players of this caliber. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and he lands on the totem. Hang on, can he finish the job with this one? He had no more rockets. He had no more rockets. And the totem to come through. That is exactly why he planted it there again.
Wow. He landed 2 totems in that fight. One through the portal. Oh my gosh. Noctis has got to be so frustrated with that.
He's got to be fed up with these totems. Yeah. Guarantee it.
Oh my goodness.
It's such an amazing answer. And it's why you can see Rapha. He has such a deep understanding of how to approach Quake champions. He knows the champions that work for the right map. You know, Blood Run, these totems can be such a pain in the backside.
Ooh, dangerous there. Yeah, charging through narrow corridors.
That's very important they got that frag, because obviously this time it's not on his side. Gets the aggressive totem, however, it's not going to be enough damage.
What a close map. Wow, that literally went down to the wire. I'm curious how much health Noctis had after eating that totem there. And it just seemed like, you know, the totem and then the weapon switch delay. Just that little bit of delay gave Noctis that opening to get the kill there.
That's one of those moments where someone types HB ? In the chat. after a frag, just to find out what was going on there. But I feel like really, I think Noctis played that really well. Rapha clearly had an amazing way of trying to shut down the Anarchy, which it's one of Noctis' strongest champions. And right at the end, I mean, he tried to sort of, instead of sort of sustaining himself, I think he must have realized that his best chance of winning that fight was to use the totem for the damage and then just finish up the rest with LG. He definitely understands it, because if he healed himself up and then got LG, it probably wouldn't have been as much damage as he's got in that one exchange, but didn't quite finish it.
Well, you got to give credit to Noctis for landing that critical rocket when he needed it to get the kill there. If he misses that rocket and extends that fight, maybe, you know, that round goes a completely different way. So, you know, inventive play from Rapha for sure, but in the end, Noctis gets the win on map 1. So
I think, like, seeing as he's sort of gone into this, in many ways, it's kind of weird describing Noctis as an underdog, because he is so well known in both game modes for being an unbelievably talented player. I think it's just because he's against a player of the likes of Rapha, and he's been looking so good in this tournament. Many people are thinking that Rapha is one of our grand final material. You know, he could even be one of the players that wins. However, if he doesn't even get that chance and Noctis takes him out now, Europe's going to be looking pretty strong going into the semis.
Yeah, definitely. A little surprised that obviously I picked 2-0 Rapha. I thought he was going to come out really strong, but as you said, Noctis is no joke, and he's showing why he's here on the big stage very often. Teams, duel, you name it. I mean, this guy's there. So I want to see how Rapha recovers here on Corrupted Keep.
Like, it's one closed-in map to another, right? Where I think in these like really point-blank maps where you're likely to have those close-range exchanges, that is where the combat skills come into play. And Noctis, he's such a prominent team player, you know, in these game modes where you've got to land frag after frag after frag. In these close-range maps where fights are often, I feel like Noctis just has that edge over most players.
Of course, and that's why all these players are here, realistically. In terms of just pure skill, hand-eye coordination, forget all the mental stuff, but just in terms of that aspect, yeah, they're tough to deal with, man. They really are. And Noctis is really proven that he can hold his own against the best.
And you can just see it in his body language, like unfazed. You know, even if he is being phased by this situation, you would never guess.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with Noctis, teasing him about that. It's like, I just can't read you, man. You're just so stoic, you know? It's just, that's his style and that's his personality. He's a great guy and a fantastic player. So let's see if he can close it out right now and prove me wrong.
You wonder if that's somehow an edge. You know, if that's an edge that Noctis will always have, in that another element he has is that a lot of the community tournaments, he doesn't really play it. You know, Noctis competes in these major tournaments and it's a little bit harder to get that constant experience. But we're going to be going into Corrupted Keep, this second map. Noctis, one map up on Rapha. Blood Run was a hard-fought battle indeed, but Noctis did come off better. Rapha now has a lot of work to do to put himself back in this fight. Otherwise, he's going home.
That's right. Let's see, I'm always curious to see who gets off to a fast start in these matches.
And it's an Anarchy mirror match too, to begin. So I think speed is what we're going to be guaranteed. Oh, here he comes.
Nice.
Took a huge amount of damage, but he was able to survive just a little bit longer with that injection. I think the shotgun against Anarchy is an amazing start, but hang on, popping another injection, so he's out of action temporarily. Rapha still unbelievably weak and forced to retreat again.
It's like, yeah, Noctis not taking any chances, just backing off, taking his heavy armor. Still pretty even, since both got a major power-up.
Rapha, he's lost all of his armor though. He's gonna have to try and make passage back. I feel like this first round is going to be so foreshadowing. You know, when you've both got the same champion, you're both sort of having this super hit and run play style. I think whoever can get that first piece of advantage, that's in many ways how the snowball can begin when you've got Anarchy on this map.
Yeah, especially Anarchy versus Anarchy. Who's going to land that real hard rocket? Because you know they're both going to be flying at 100 miles an hour. You know, who's going to come around and land that first real hard shot? Because you know they're just going to run into each other suddenly. You can just feel it.
I feel like it's almost like a future investment, right? Where they've both got Anarchy first, but you're going to have to look at some of these champions that are coming up next. One of these fights might not result in a frag, but Noctis has got that Sorlag available, and if he can catch Rapha, if Rapha manages to frag him and he just goes with the Sorlag, he can probably just finish the job if he catches him nice and close.
Nice little rocket off the ledge by Rapha. Didn't do, you know, a terrible ton of damage, but it was enough to back him off. Oh, man.
Ooh. Yeah, unfortunately, Rapha sort of fumbled one of those rockets around the corner. Not only is it going to do damage to himself, but it's going to give Noctis the awareness that he is, in fact, there. Catches him fresh off the spawn. Rapha has to use his Ghost Walk so early on, and if Noctis finds him now, he might be in big trouble.
Yeah, nice placement rockets by Noctis in the previous fight. Not just the fact that he did damage, got the kill, but the way he placed it and did the damage prevented Rapha from going back through that doorway because of the splash damage, was forcing him more into the room, and it was just a good setup.
And now that's going to be an early lead for Noctis. But the second you get the champion advantage on this map, you really are the one in control, but No, a couple more rockets. Still not got the Ghost Walk. Can he knock him off? Tries to go in for the wall jump. Is it enough to survive? No, heavy machine gun will come through. Noctis now has 2 champions above Rapha. Down to his final champion, Doomslayer. We'll see what happens here.
Man, Noctis looking really strong, coming out of the gate with a 2-0 lead after taking the first map and a hard-fought one. But that map doesn't matter anymore. It's all about this one now.
Just want to try and fight for the heavy. I think the Mega is going to be far more important. I think as long as he's able to just stay in the lead, right? It's not only just taking the items for yourself, but it's denying it from the competition who was already behind. Yeah,
and obviously with the speed difference between the 2 champions, you know, Rapha's going to have to make the correct read and try to cut him off.
Oh, that was a really impressive trail of LG. I've got to say, you saw how quickly Rapha's health just melted down there. Even before the LG had its sort of changes, I think Noctis has always had quite impressive aim in general.
Let's see here. So they traded items. Rapha's kind of in a bad shape. He needs some armor to go along with that health. There you go.
I stick with double jump. You know, Doomslayer's going to have that sort of like combination of what Aniki brings to the table, where you're constantly airborne around the corner. So those grounded rockets aren't going to do as much damage to you as some of the other sort of grounded champions.
Rapha's going to be quickly running out of time here. He needs 2 frags to get into this round. So you obviously want to frag. You know, give yourself like a minute at least, 45 seconds, bare minimum, to try to push something after.
Here comes another fight, but as long as Noctis is sort of keeping that high ground, even as he's trying to heal up, he can sort of pepper down those defensive rockets, and he gets a fantastically placed one indeed. The first round will go to Noctis.
Yeah, there's an example. Rapha had to make a push, and he just said, you know what, I'm going in right here. And Noctis with the great defensive rockets to say, no, that's not happening. I
just think it's a great bit of awareness from both players. You know, it's how quickly you have to decide how circumstances can change in the blink of an eye. In that instance, Rapha realized that he needed to get 2 champions. He had to make something happen. If he ran away, he was just going to waste time and then make life even harder later.
Yeah, and against a player like Noctis, obviously very intelligent and good, you're not just going to chase him down twice in 45 seconds. Yeah, so it was a calculated decision by Rapha.
Just looking a little bit weak, but to be honest, as long as neither Aniki has like minimal or no armor, it's pretty much going to be even until one of those rockets lands.
And this map's kind of interesting with Anarchy because of the absence of the railgun, you know, forces, you know, sometimes with these lighter champions, you hit them with the rail and then they're really in a bad spot and then you get aggressive. But now it's like, no, it's going to be a lot of close proximity. And even though you're fast, they're both, like I said, whoever lands that first big shot when they come around the corners is usually the one who's going to come out with the frag. Because it only takes really 2 good rockets. Anarchy, you're done.
Especially seeing as rockets being, I mean, they're so prominent in this version of the game now. The OG is a little bit different.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Rapha. Yeah, there's that defensive injection. 100% necessary. Gonna get the Mega too, but until Aniki gets some armor, I mean, some of that stack might as well not exist. You said it yourself, right? 2 rockets, and that's gonna be swiftly dealt with.
Yeah, and I'm sure Shane's well aware that his injection is down, so he's gonna try to keep some pressure on him, keep some damage, and make it so he's gonna be low going into these next power-up fights.
Yeah, I feel like if there's one player in the business that will time every small little element, including these ability timers, I mean, Rapha is the player that will be doing that. He has so much game knowledge. He has so much awareness of how much ammo the opponent's likely to have, what their cooldown is likely to be.
Yeah, it's interesting if anybody ever watches his Twitch stream, the way he explains the game as he plays, you can just know, you can see how much command he has over the mental aspect of this game.
Yeah, how he can maintain that level of concentration while talking is beyond me, to be honest, but
yeah.
These top players will find a way. Noctis had Rapha on the ropes a couple of occasions, but hasn't quite been able to seal the deal just yet. So they're going to remain even for the time being. Only 2 minutes into this round, though, so plenty of time to make something happen.
Yeah, a bit of ooh, nice. Bit of a stalemate going on right now for this first few minutes.
Yeah, the damage definitely seems even actually going in for the kill with the shotgun right there. But Rapha still survives with a hair's length of health.
Really wanted that shotgun kill. Probably missed a couple point-blank ones there.
Oh. Going in for those nails. Actually, Noctis can't really take 2 more, otherwise he'll be on 1 HP.
It's amazing. Both these guys are low, but it's just so much going on.
I have massive respect for how long he's been able to survive, and just like that, after the amount of times Rapha was on the back foot, that one fight that went in his favor, he got the frag. Very impressive.
Yeah, now he's got Sorlag off the spawn. Good play. On this map, for those who are maybe a little less experienced, the rocket launcher off the respawn is so important. You'll see players go set traps over there. On a map like this, not having the rocket launchers is just such a huge detriment.
And that's not one of those reasons Rapha, the second he realized Doomslayer had spawned, he went straight to the rocket. He knew that Noctis needs that weapon to stay in this fight, and he's got a little bit of uncontested damage, also showing that, hey mate, I know where you're going to be. I know where you're likely to go, and also the mind game element, knowing you're in this guy's head, you know what they're going to do.
Just every little bit of damage right now, because Noctis isn't exactly in the greatest position, or Rapha just needs to keep. Oh my goodness, he's in trouble.
7 health. And there we go. Just needs the shotgun to do it, and that's so weak indeed. That's where the Gib's going to come out as well. But here's the dangerous thing. Rapha has gone into Doomslayer. He's going to naturally have a way higher stack, even though Noctis just got this armor. Rapha, unbelievably healthy. He's got LG, and it looks like he's just got Rocket too. And that's all you need. Here he comes.
Oh man, nice LG. Getting there. But again, great defensive rocket. Man, when Noctis really needs to land, look at that. When he needs to land some rocket, when he needs to land his rockets, man, that's, geez, top notch, really. And
the second Rapha was stuck in that Berserk mode, I mean, when you're in Berserk mode, you are tied to that melee combat. You have no form of ranged move. Otherwise, you're going to go in for that lunge, automatic lock on, probably eat a rocket in the face anyway. Noctis is back in this fight, just like that.
Oh.
Maybe I spoke too soon. Here comes the super shotgun.
But even still, even though Rapha got that round, you got to give Noctis a lot of credit. Seems like, especially with the mid-air rockets, he's very much on point. Very confident. He doesn't hesitate. He knocks the guy in the air, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to hit you out of the air with another one. It's been paying off for him. He's been doing a lot of damage to Rapha, but credit to Rapha for coming back. He really needed that round. You don't want to go down 2-0. And, you already lost the first map, so that was big for him to get back in this this map.
I mean, no matter what kind of player you are, what kind of caliber player you are, that is a big mental strain that gets put on you. When you're 1 map down already and then you lose 2, it's, damn, I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've played just, public games where I've gone down 0-2 and I had to come back. It's stressful to come back because you can't make an error anymore, and yeah, it adds that extra pressure.
However, to be honest, I'd be surprised if we see either of these guys change from their first champion. The Anarchy pick seems to be quite solid for both of them.
Yeah, it's I'm kind of interested that they seem to be okay with Anarchy versus Anarchy, and nobody's deciding to change it up. Maybe maybe a Sorlag to go against Shane's Anarchy, or I don't know.
But I gotta say, I'm consistently impressed by Noctis's reactive rockets. The second he goes around a corner and he notices that Rapha's around the corner, that first rocket that really sets the game and knocks him up into the air, that pretty much comes from Noctis every single time. His reactions on when to pull the trigger have been so consistently strong.
Yeah, and it's, again, the placement of the rockets. Not just the reaction time, but the placement, where he's putting them, very precise.
I mean, just like this, he's forced the injection, so he's out of action. That's going to be at least 1 rocket down, but Noctis still actually has got his injection, opting to save it and pick up those little health bubbles instead. He will have that edge when they next encounter. I think it can take a lot of self-discipline to not pop that injection in a situation where, you might need it to save your skin.
Yeah, there's that, you can't pop it too early, but you obviously can't pop it too late or you're dead. So one of the mistakes people make, they start taking damage and they pop it really early when they still have 60 health. And now it's down and you're still taking more damage. So the timing on that's important.
Love the positioning there from Rapha. The second he sees one of those, I mean, those long-range rockets aren't likely when they're actually playing in plain sight. I don't think they're really going to take too much of those because they will just dodge them quite effectively there with Anarchy's air movement. But the high ground, Rapha with that advantage.
Yeah, caught Noctis dropping down, and yeah, you do not want to be on low ground when you're in a rocket fight, that is for sure. So credit to Rapha getting it done there.
Well, a shotgun and a nice stack, but Rapha with all the toys right now. Yeah, just forcing him away from the middle point to him. No, he's actually fighting back.
Sensing a little bit of a momentum shift here. Shane seems to be getting a little bit of a groove. Noctis needs to turn it around. See if he can land some of those magical rockets here. Maybe get a Sorlag acid spit, set some kind of ambush if I was him. Try to trap that Anarchy, because you know if you get that Anarchy at the right time coming around the corner, it's going to be an instant death against Sorlag.
Sometimes I actually feel like that's why Noctis is quite clearly taking a slow approach, and obviously he's moving quite fast here to try and go towards Mega, but consistently when you actually check him on this observer, you can notice that he's kind of just walking around looking for, maybe if he comes around the corner and I spring the trap, Anarchy probably won't be able to survive this. Tries to go in for a mid-air, popping the injection just for the speed boost. He does not want anything to do with the fight.
Yeah, that was a good play by Noctis. Very smart to get aggressive there. Forced Rapha to use his injection to get away. He's still not out of danger yet.
Nice pathing by Rapha, actually.
Yeah, he's trying to get away here. Great pickup here. Now he's still, okay, he traded the mega health.
He's back in it. Actually, love how his course of action was to deny that armor. Unfortunately, Rapha actually shooting the ground, doing a bit of damage to himself.
One of the things with Sorlag, that open area in the top, there in the middle, even though you think you have an advantage, you got to be careful pushing in because the lightning gun can light you up. It's just so bad.
I think seeing as Sorlag is so consistently airborne as well because of that bunny hop passive, and the LG is not something that Sorlag likes being hit by. Springs the trap around the corner, a couple of good rockets, but it never seems to be enough, you know, no matter how weak Rapha is. He's quite content just running away, getting his stack back up, and then repeating the process again. The ball is going to be in Noctis's court. We've just passed this 1 minute warning. Again, Noctis does not have the champion advantage. He needs to make something happen, and he has 55 seconds to do it.
Yeah, good. He's going to protect this heavy armor. Yeah, Noctis making a smart play here, I think, going in for it.
And that was a painful trail of super nails. He's got the heavy, but just look how much health he hasn't got.
Uh-oh. Bad spot for Rapha.
Tries to switch to the shotgun, but he's just not able to get enough damage. I mean, he has the right idea, and he's consistently being in the right place, but he just can't get the damage he needs.
And it was also the nail gun of Rapha being disruptive. He knew he was taking some damage. Maybe he tries to line up a shot, makes his movement a little predictable. Oh, gray rockets.
Now, I would still be worried because even he's got health bubbles around, his health is unbelievably low. Yeah, and Doomslayer, he's still got Berserk ready. That's a couple of punches.
I'm very surprised Shane was so careless late in the match like that. He really only had 15 seconds to go to delay. Running out in the open like that and not ate a couple rockets.
Yeah, now it's completely fine for Noctis. It's kind of, he can breathe a sigh of relief temporarily, but he still has a round to finish. Does get the ticking damage, so he's going to get a little bit of data. He's going to know where Rapha's going, knowing he's like to go near rocket, which I think is actually going to make his control over the heavy a little bit more realistic.
It's all down to this one frag right now in round 3. This is very pivotal. Who can go up 2-1? Shane, Rapha really needs this round to take, get in the driver's seat of this map and try to force a third map.
Definitely. I mean, if Noctis wins this next round, he will be on match point. One of our greatest Quake players of all time may not actually make it through. But never say never. We still have a map to finish.
Over that aim, Noctis giving as good as he's getting.
Going towards the health. Unfortunately, he has given Rapha the high ground, and Rapha trying to finish the deal, but no, actually opting to run away. Doesn't want to risk it.
Yeah, he had to back off because of the spit, and Noctis picked up those 2 health bubbles over there. Really bailed him out.
Yeah, I think we saw Rapha temporarily push it to try and get some of those high ground rockets, but I don't think he was interested in taking the fight 100% just in case.
Yeah, exactly. Because one frag wins right now, so he took the one shot he had and he missed, and oh well. That's the way, go set up again.
It is what it is. Trying to control it now. Oh, unfortunately, gets knocked down, and there we go. Another rocket. A magical rocket for Noctis coming through. Match point for Noctis right now, and we actually see, I can actually see Noctis maybe feeling himself a little bit, uncharacteristically. You don't really see a lot of emotion coming out of this guy, but you can tell that he's feeling it.
This is nice LG work, kind of forcing him down. Rapha felt he had the advantage with the high ground, felt he was going to jump off, doing a little 180 work with the rockets, and, Noctis just put a good damage on him and landed that solid rocket to get the kill.
I mean, that LG tracking was really good. Just knowing exactly how fast he's going to fall, when he's going to fall down, finish the deal with rocket. Nice little combo there, but this could be our final round, Machiavelli. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Noctis looking like he's going to win 2-0. Now Rapha.
Rapha's weak again. For another time, he's forced to retreat. Noctis is winning these exchanges so consistently. He didn't even have a rocket there.
Yeah, his place, the way he's placing his positioning, like overall, like he's catching Rapha sometimes in some bad spots and taking full advantage. I think Rapha's getting them sometimes maybe a little too careless flying around with some of these characters. We certainly saw it in the last round. I thought he was going to run the clock out.
And he only had a few seconds left to do it.
Yeah,
like he potentially could have gone for that.
Yeah, I was very surprised he went in the open area like that.
Well, hopefully he doesn't live to regret it. And that's the issue with these kind of decisions that you have to make. I mean, they are a matter between winning and losing, of course, but in this kind of stage, and oh, that's 1, that's gonna be 2, 100 damage rocket. He will easily follow up with that one, just do the maths. Understand that Anarchy's not gonna survive this, and there we go. One champion already up.
Yeah, Noctis looking really good right now after that kill. Staying on that low ground. I know Rapha, he had him trapped. I mean, he couldn't go through the portal, and then, he tried to escape through the side there, but, Noctis, again, placing his rockets very intelligently.
And it really has been the sort of hometown hero for Noctis, as this rocket launcher. That's another good rocket. Gets caught on the bottom. Rapha does manage to get one of them away. Actually, almost worried there. Couldn't quite see what was going on during that kill. Almost like a trade. But he's back in the fight for now. Unfortunately, though, he only had 1 rocket.
Yeah, he needs to think about...
There we go.
There we go. He dropped down specifically for that ammo. Didn't he see that? I think he might have.
I think he might. I think that might have been why we saw the rocket boost just then.
Yep.
It's going to allow him to. He is going to be able to sort of aggress this heavy though without the ghost walk.
Oh, this is. Oh,
Wait a second!
No. Rapha just didn't anticipate him going through the portal and jumping down on him. He had no idea he went through the portal, and he only had 15 health, too.
Yeah, I mean, the second we saw Noctis with that much health, you would have been convinced that was in Rapha's position, but just like that, Noctis coming through the teleporter, just getting another kind of good rockets, and there we go. One more champion, and Noctis is eliminating Rapha from the tournament.
A big, I think, mistake there by Rapha. He just totally didn't anticipate that. A little surprising, given how he was shooting him.
Oh, here we go.
No. Oh, no.
He just needs one more, and he's gonna get that final rocket that Noctis was looking for. He's gonna silence basically everyone. I mean, he was not going into this as the favorite, be it he is a fantastic player, but nevertheless, Rapha is eliminated from the tournament.
Just great play by Noctis, capitalizing the mistakes from Rapha. Great rocket play. I think if I was going to point to anything Noctis did that was extremely well was the way he was placing his rockets, especially defensively. Kept Rapha off his game, I think, and it looked like Rapha was a little out of his element at the end there, kind of pushing and feeling like he had to push, and wow, it's a big win by Noctis, 2-0.
I've never been more happy than to be proven completely wrong, but I mean, Jahar, welcome back. What do you think?
I'm speechless. Yeah, none of us expected that. Nobody, well, okay.
What
was that, 38% of the Twitch audience? We got to hand it to you. You certainly called it right there. Oh, man, what a matchup, though. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be a better map for Rapha coming into it. But, yeah, Noctis had some really good reads, especially that last play on the heavy armor with the Sorlag. I didn't even see him go through the teleporter. I was like, whoa, where'd he come from?
Yeah, it was there. I caught it. It was a split second. And the thing about the situation was because he was shooting him with the rockets, he was kind of basically forcing him into the teleporter. So I was a little surprised he wasn't kind of looking up there here and there, you know, like, did he go through or not? And he just caught him completely off guard. I mean, you could tell by the way his mouse was moving that he wasn't ready for Noctis to come from on top at all.
Very sheepishly, we're going to be talking to Noctis here in just a moment, but while we get him set up, let's go ahead and take another quick look at the top 3 frags here from that matchup. Oh, okay. Actually, it's going to be a little bit before we get that. I mean, there were so many to choose from there. I definitely want to see that one through the teleporter on heavy armor again. I mean, it was such a fantastic read. You don't get to do that against Shane very often.
And I feel like also some of the frags, I think my favorite frags were to see were some of the Galena ones we saw in Blood Run.
Yeah.
I actually feel like it was, you almost like look at that champion lineup and think that Rapha clearly went into Blood Run knowing how he wanted to approach that, particularly with the champions that Noctis likes to consistently pick and do. I think that was like, you know, trying to be like, in many ways a counter to how Noctis approaches duel. You could see it somewhat work, but somehow Noctis still came off better on the map. I think it was just impressive composure that he can pretty much win through thick and thin no matter what.
Galena certainly isn't the most showy choice for getting those frags. We might not see Galena in these top 3 frags, but definitely a favorite of mine. Let's take a quick look at these real quick. All right, so first up for number 3, we've got, yeah, this play over Mega. I mean, you talk about the LG patch, but you still see 7s come out like that. Just amazing shots all around. And okay, yeah, once again wrong, that Galena play on the stairs.
And this, I believe this might have been that moment. Oh, 100. I mean, the second you see just do the maths right. The second you see 100, pretty much most people like to go in during that exchange.
Where was he? Well, there he is. Jeez, you appeared just like you did above Rapha there.
Out of nowhere.
Just like that. Again, we're a little bit sheepish. It's no big secret that none of us were really betting on you, but you proved literally everybody wrong.
Well, I wasn't betting on me either.
So can you explain what happened in that matchup?
Well, I had to continue the trend of today, where like the underdogs kind of win. So that's my explanation.
Cool. You think there's something in the air here?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, what's the next game? Razy against
Kilston, yeah, I believe so.
So I'm guessing Razy is going to win that.
All right, cool. So we have a prediction coming out there.
I gotta say though, so whenever you sort of tackle duel, I think it's no mystery that sort of sacrifice is your sort of main focus when you sort of compete in Quake Champions. Yeah. But you consistently, time and time again, do so well in duel. What is it about your approach to duel that you think is so successful the way you play it?
I mean, I have a history of 15 years of duel, so I'm not new to the game.
Oh, of course.
So I'm just, well, right now the patch kind of benefits me, I think, because it's very rocket heavy, and being aggressive pays off with rockets if you know what you're doing. But also helps other players who have rail, which is not really mine. But yeah, I think that comes down to that basically. And I think the composition Rapha picked actually benefited me more, because if he played like different champions. What else is there? Clutch or something, that wouldn't really benefit me. I would run into a wall into that all the time, and I would get frustrated or bored.
I'm curious.
And he also played very aggressive, which it basically runs into me, and then he pays the price for it.
Yeah, there were several times in the broadcast where we were noticing that you placed your defensive rockets really well, caught him coming in, landing for big damage, and really just turned the tides when he thought he could push on you.
No.
But I got to ask, at the end of Blood Run there, when he landed that totem, how low were you when he started the lightning gun? I was wondering, you got to have been low.
I died.
Did you die right after?
I died.
I think it was a mutual, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But I had one left. Was one.
Oh, that had to be a scary moment for you.
I mean, especially going Anarchy v Anarchy against Rapha. I mean, it was incredibly fast-paced first few rounds there.
Anarchy v Anarchy, I think, benefits me a lot more because I have a background in CPM as well, so I know how dodging works and how people dodge with Anarchy, where they jump in the air and do a little circle, but then stand in the same spot again. So I just shoot where he jumped, because and a lot of people don't realize that when they play Anarchies. So I had a lot more direct rockets on him than he did on me.
Awesome. Well, let's take another look at this bracket, but I want you to stick around just to have a few words about what you think coming into this next round here. Because again, like you said, it's been a day for the underdogs, but you're going to be playing up against Garpy in the semifinal. What do you think about that?
I don't know, he's been playing pretty well.
Yep.
I think he's benefited the same as me. He has a Half-Life Deathmatch background, which has also air control and rocket heavy, I think. So, yeah, I don't know.
Is there going to be almost like an element of trying to avenge your fallen teammate?
For sure.
Is there any advice you could give to up-and-coming newer players about, one, the importance of the rocket launcher as you showcased in that match? It really carried the day for you. Obviously, it's pivotal. How would you improve on that in terms of making that an integral part of the game? Can you speak a little bit about something that you do? How did you get better as a player in terms of setting up those shots?
With rocket launcher, you just have to take your time with your rockets, basically, because people always try to dodge before you even shoot. So if you see someone dodging the incoming rocket that you think that he's expecting, just wait a half a second, and then you see where he's walking, and then shoot the rocket there. So being patient with your rockets is always paying off. And on a pro level, people always try to be unpredictable. So I'm always predicting the unpredictable and shoot the rocket there. To be honest, people always did the back and forth dodging as well. I always shoot in the back. I don't even look at where he's walking, because I'm just expecting where he's walking.
All right, well, appreciate the tips for sure, but good luck going into the next one. I think at this point, none of us have any inkling what the finals are going to look like, but best of luck to you there, Noctis.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, guys, we're going to be coming back very quickly for the last duel in the quarterfinals here for DreamHack Denver 2017. It's going to be exciting stuff. Stay tuned.